The death of Antonio Luna in 1899 was both a tragedy and a mystery kasi it was a violent ambush perpetrated by fellow Filipino soldiers. There was never a formal inquiry, walang trial, walang naparusahan, wala man siyang maayos na puntod. Pero matapos ang higit na isang siglo, mayroon na tayong natuklasang personal na impormasyon tungkol sa huling araw ni Antonio Luna. I am Mona Magno Veluz, I hunt down ancestors, and chase fascinating stories in Philippine history. Noong June 4, 1899, General Antonio Luna received a telegram from President Emilio Aguinaldo. May issue tungkol kay Felipe Buencamino na nemesis ni General Tunying. Napasugod tuloy ang mapusok na Luna patungo sa Kabanatuan. But before he went, Luna stopped in Dagupan at the home of Don Mariano Nable and his wife Doña Florentina Arellano. Florentina was an old friend. She was a journalist and one of the pioneering Filipina contributors to La Independencia, the revolutionary newspaper founded and funded by Antonio Luna. At only 19, she had joined the propaganda war with her pen alongside Rosa Sevilla Alvero and some of the country's most prominent writers and intellectuals. For General Luna's visit, may request siya. Gusto raw kumain ng merienda China ng General. Don Mariano arranged a Chinese merienda prepared by one of Dagupan's finest cooks. General Luna arrived on June 5, 1899. The table was set for 13 people. Not a good number if you are superstitious. At imbis na masaya ang atmosphere, something was wrong. Sabi daw ni Luna, in Spanish, nalulungkot ako, isang mapait na damdamin ang bumabalot sa akin. Even his trusted aide, Colonel Francisco Roman, was also anxious, his heart apparently racing with dread. Halos hindi sila nakakain. Noong paalis na sila, nagmadali si Luna papunta sa istasyon ng tren. He forgot his epaulets and cockade, the ceremonial insignia that adorned his uniform. Naiwan ang mga ito sa ibabaw ng piano sa sala ng bahay ng mga Nable. Noong nakalayo na siya, naalala niya. He asked Don Mariano to keep them safe should he return, ani ng General. Kinutuban na siya na hindi na siya makakabalik. That afternoon, Luna arrived in Cabanatuan and entered the convent house without his usual entourage. There, he encountered the very men he had disarmed and confronted Buencamino, only to be attacked. What followed became one of the most brutal episodes of the Philippine-American War. Luna fought back, but he and Colonel Roman were eventually killed. Their uniforms were hacked and riddled with bullets. Back in Dagupan, Florentina and her husband learned of the tragedy that befell their friends that evening. Don Mariano told her to secretly keep the symbols of his position safe, just as the general instructed. Years later, as a widow, Florentina wrote the details of what happened that day and how she came to have General Antonio Luna's epaulets and cockade. These artifacts remained in the Arellano Nable household, eventually passing from one generation to another. What remained of a fallen soldier's military regalia, designed by the master Juan Luna himself, corresponds to Antonio Luna's rank as Lieutenant General. Their symbols, the sun, bamboo leaves, stars, and oak leaves sewn in gold and colored threads, represented freedom, resilience, and military rank in the First Philippine Republic. These long-lost emblems are symbols of the big what might have been of the Philippine Revolution had its greatest general not been eliminated. These pieces and their dramatic letter of provenance go under the hammer at the magnificent auction on September 12. Silipin nyo sa open house nila on September 5 to 11 at Leon Gallery in Makati. For more than a century, these objects survived because one woman kept them safe. These remnants are a testament to a man's military service rooted in love for country, even if the men of his time did not value or understand what he stood for. O, diba?
Meow meow.